Hey, TobeyG, this is TobeyG and JD Show. How you doing, Toby?
I'm doing terrific, and I'll be talking to you in a minute, JD. I want to have a sip of my drink first. I mean,
Well, here, let's do some cheers.
Here's to us, and here's to the world.
Here's to the United States of America.
USA of America. Hope we keep it.
Ooh. I think you made that one a little strong, but that's good.
Happy hour is every hour, the TobeyG and JD Show. And we got so many things to talk about, and I'm sorry to say they're not all pleasant. But, there'll be a few pleasant things that we'll get to. And there's so much going on in the world that, it's just crazy out there. But
well,
go ahead.
Just think about what happened last night with the 6 officers that got shot.
Yeah,
I mean,
you told me about it. I didn't read
Kissimmee, one officer was killed. The other one's in really bad shape. They don't know who did it yet. Hopefully they'll find out and be able to catch them and bring them to justice. 2 in Jacksonville. There was a shootout and 2 officers shot. They did get the victim or the person that shot him, and I think they killed him. And in Pennsylvania, 2 highway patrolmen were shot, and they also killed whoever it was.
There had to be an ambush. I mean,
the one at Kissimmee definitely was because they didn't even get a shot off, from what I understand. So
how about Pennsylvania?
I'm not sure. I tried to read up on it, but they didn't have a lot of information. So. But that's the cops are under siege. I mean it's bad out there.
Well, we're all under siege right now. The United States of America is under siege by powers that are within our control, but we're not taking control. And those powers are, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist. We've talked about this before, JD. And the thing is, I mean, we can talk about what happened. Let's talk about the Ku Klux Klan, which is despicable, along with the white supremacists. These people are wackos, okay?
There's no doubt about that.
No question. But nobody's talking about Antifa, how they were burning buildings in Berkeley. You didn't hear that on the news. So one thing that you really need to understand, and one thing is to collapse a country, which people are trying to collapse the United States of America right now. You have to control the education system, which, the colleges, you got a lot of snowflakes that they're taking out of the refrigerator right now that they can't handle what's going on. And the other thing is healthcare, which Obamacare was designed to fail because they want a one-payer system, which you're going to wait in a long line. You're going to have a scarcity of doctors because
the doctors don't want it because they can't get paid.
Absolutely. And people from the UK and Canada and places that have this type of health care come to the United States for care, but now we're no longer number 1 on the list. And the third thing that is the control, the media. The media controls the people.
Yes, it does.
The people are no longer people. The people that follow the media, whether it be cable news or they follow the regular news, they are sheeple. I mean, they're like sheep going to slaughter because they believe everything they hear, and they're listening to. I mean, all of them are talking fake news.
That's so true. I mean, it's sad because it seems like the people react to what they hear on the news every day, and they're not the only ones. I mean, all people from the top down seem to be listening to what the news is saying and reacting to it instead of going out and finding out what the real truth is, like we do.
Yeah, and sometimes you listen to a news story, you need to settle down and wait a couple of days for the truth to be sorted out. Because you get a commentator, whether it be on Fox News, CNN, which, again, is the worst.
That's the Clinton News Network?
Clinton News Network. It's the Communist News Network.
Communist Network. Oh, okay.
I mean, don't forget, a progressive is a socialist, which is a communist. I mean, just remember those things. It's amazing, what's happening.
Yep.
And the media, I mean, a journalist's job is go to do a story, investigate it. It may take 5 minutes. It may take 5 days. It may take 5 months. Get all the facts, then report it factually. Then, if he wants to give his opinion, he'll say, this is my opinion of this. He should give his opinion. But that's a journalist. A journalist should give the facts, not skew the facts or leave any out. And that's what they're doing. They're leaving out facts.
Oh, I know it, and it's ridiculous.
They're not telling people what's going on, JD.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you see some of these local journalists, that are going out and trying to find out where all the money's being spent, and you paid for it on the and local NBCs and the ABC channels and all that. But when you get into the national news, you wonder. You don't see the investigation that needs to take place. It's just that they're just reacting, or they're creating stories as they go. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is, and we really need right now. This is the start. Listen, this is happening. I'm not the first one that said it. You won't hear this on the mainstream news again, but it isn't news. This is the start of a civil war. The United States, the last time we were this screwed up was the Civil War back then. We are in the start,
and that's
of
without
Civil
social
War.
media. Yeah,
that's right. We are at the start of a civil war, and if you don't think we are, okay, you can call us. You got the number.
Yeah, the number is 844-429-3579. We'd love to hear from you, and also our Gmail address is TobeyG and JD Show at gmail.com.
I got a message from Gary too. He's a follower of our podcast, and he said he'd like to hear more of what we're saying because a lot of people aren't saying it. And I told him that we're going to go with the flow. We're going to talk about things that other people aren't talking about. And some people are, because that's where I get a lot of my information. But I try to get it, and so does JD, from sources that we deem reliable and true. Just to give you an example, we keep talking about drain the swamp, term limits. The
swamp is overflowing.
Let me tell you, right now, we're in trouble. When you get, Nancy Pelosi's been in office for 30 years. She's walked in the Capitol for 30 years by, I think it's 15 or 20 monuments from the Confederate days. She hasn't said a word. They never bothered her until now. Now she went to Paul Ryan and she wants to remove. We need to remove her from office, okay? It's not her fault that she is, I'm going to say the word, retarded. The people that are voting her in are, okay? They're going to be out of their freaking mind, along with they had Harry Reid. I mean, he got beat up and he's out of office now. Then you got McConnell, and you got Ryan, and you got Schumer. Then you got the bigot and the racist of Maxine Waters, and she's the most racist, bigoted person in Congress.
Wow.
By far. And we need to get rid of these freaking people. I mean, the country is going down the toilet. People died for our freedoms, and they're taking away freedom of speech.
Yeah, I think that's the worst thing that can happen. I mean, why they put those two groups together was to do exactly what they've done, is to make people look bad, get people hurt, get people run over by cars. And look what's happening around the world. I mean, it's not happening just here. It's happening in other places in Europe, all over the place. Stabbings and vehicles running into people and all that. I mean, it's terrible.
The news, they were hammering Trump because, I mean, a long time ago he denounced David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan when he was running for office. Now they're all upset because he blamed both sides. Well, for a confrontation, you need two sides. So that wasn't just one side. Antifa was throwing feces. They were throwing balloons with urine in it. They were throwing bottles full of cement, and they were hitting people with clubs. Why didn't you hear about that in the mainstream news? Now,
that's a good question.
Yeah. Now, I'm not giving any credit, but Ku Klux Klan, they got a permit to go there and protest.
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
That's right.
Why would they approve
Antifa
that?
didn't get a permit, but nobody talked about Antifa, okay? And the police were there, and they didn't stop the rioting and the fighting and so forth. The police were run by...
Didn't they send them where they both would get together instead of separating them? They had them both going together.
Exactly.
So,
and they said that they were worried. The governor
You need to get closer to the mic, please, so everybody can hear you. This is important.
The governor said that they were worried that it was going to get worse because they were better armed and they had munitions hidden within the city.
What do you mean? They were carrying weapons. All of them were.
Well, but at the same time...
Because Virginia is a carry state.
The Virginia police came out and said that wasn't the case, that they weren't well armed and they didn't have weapons hidden
No. You could see some of them had weapons they were carrying. You could see them, but they were not the violent ones. The ones that were doing all the fighting were up in front of them. Yeah, and that was the thing that surprised me.
JD and I are both against both of them. Okay, we're not sticking up for either of them.
No,
but why would you want to condemn? Well, we just had a terrorist attack in Spain.
Yeah,
and the news started talking about it, and then they dropped it and ran back to yell and scream about Bannon getting fired and about the riots and the way Trump, talked about it. Do you know why they're doing that, JD?
Why?
The Russian bullshit fell apart. Okay, it wasn't true to begin with, and they're not talking about it anymore.
You mean Trump was right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But they're finding it, and don't get me wrong, we're not really for Trump, but Trump was elected to drain the swamp. Okay.
I think he's drowning.
And I mean, they are the Republicans and the Democrats are doing everything they can do to stop him.
No doubt. There's
no question. And
it's awful hot here today.
The first, have a drink.
I've been drinking. I don't know.
The ice is melting.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's awful hot.
I have. Some people like to put bumper stickers in. I have one on my car.
You got one?
I had these made. 50 of them. If you just send to our email address your name, address, you get one free. It says "Term limits drain the swamp." It's probably backwards in the spelling.
Well, it's good on mine, but on yours it may be.
But
glaring.
It's drain the swamp. Term limits. First 50 people that write in on our email address, which
TobeyG and JD Show at gmail.com.
I'll send you one free of charge to put on.
Make sure you put in there that it's for the bumper sticker, and we'll be glad to send you one.
And cheers for all you that you respond to.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Hey, another.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
All right,
we do have a Facebook fan page, by the way. It's TobeyG and JD Show. On Facebook, so make sure you go there and like it and share some of the articles and post things that you like to post.
It runs right into one of our sponsors, and this came.
We have a sponsor?
I read this yesterday, but Poland Springs, their main operation, they found that they were using groundwater and filtering it and selling it. Now there's a tremendous lawsuit against Poland Springs for fraud and deception. And there's no proof that they're getting the water from springs. They're really using water from the ground. And they're not saying that it's not filtered or anything, but they're saying it's fraud and deception. And I've been saying I've said this a long time ago on our podcast, that you shouldn't drink tap water. You need to drink distilled water, or you need to filter it yourself. If you have well water like JD does,
yes,
or you have tap water, filter it. I drink distilled water. I hope it's distilled. They say it is, but make me wonder. I have a big Berkey. I haven't been using it. I saved it for bad times if we get a hurricane or have problems with the electrical grid. At least I can filter water.
Can we filter our drinks?
Listen, these drinks are filtering right through my kidneys.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
And my liver, okay? And this is, I'm a vodka drinker. I like to put a splash of cranberry, and I got JD trying that this morning. They call them Cape Codders, but they use more cranberry in a Cape Codder. Actually, you can tell my accent. I'm from that area.
Yes, we can.
You need to go to myangelscloud.com, myangelscloud.com. Click on the Big Berkey banner, and it will take you to their site. Look at their water filters. You can't live without water and clean water. If there's a problem, you need water. We're headed into a civil war. We may have some disruptions along the way. Don't forget, while we're getting disrupted in the United States, our enemies, which people just seem to don't care about, like whether it be North Korea, Russia, China.
North Korea's still out there? I haven't heard nothing about them in a while.
You will Monday because we're going to have an exercise jointly with South Korea.
Oh, so that's going to piss them off.
That's going to piss them off, and that's going to drum up again. But they all have the capability of hacking into our electrical system, JD. And that shuts down. You're going to have problems with water. So go to myangelscloud.com, which is another one of our sponsors. We get a lot of our information from there. And click on the banner for Big Berkey. See what they have. Read about it.
It's quite interesting. If you've never read about the Big Berkey, you should definitely take a look at it and see about investing that into for your family's well-being. They have different sizes for different size families, from 2 people on up.
You know, JD, we always say on all of our podcasts, I always do this, okay? I say, who said this, JD? Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Now they're going to know I'm not very bright, so
right.
go ahead.
Courage is grace under pressure. Courage is grace under pressure.
Okay.
Somebody from that lived in Florida said that. And I'll give you another hint.
Thomas Jefferson?
I'll give you another hint, okay?
right.
He was living in Key West, and he had a lot of cats.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that would be.
You know who that is?
No.
That was Ernest Hemingway.
Hemingway. That was my guess, but I didn't say it.
Oh, well, you can guess. Okay. If you are not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Okay?
Makes sense.
If you will not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary.
That's true.
Jim Rohn. I don't know who that is.
You know, I know my favorite saying is no guts, no glory. It's basically the same thing. So.
Well, I always say, if people don't understand what I'm saying, is here. You know how people used to say, here today, gone tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. I always say, here today, gone to Maui. Okay. And if you've ever been to Maui, it's a beautiful island.
I'll bet.
Okay, it's a beautiful.
Someday I'll go there.
I've been there a couple times, and it is really, really. Now I'll give you one more because I don't want anyone to be screaming, "Oh, you didn't do 3." Take up one idea. Make that one idea your life. Think of it. Dream of it. Live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Now, I don't know if I can pronounce the person that said this, but it's Swami, and I can't even remember. It starts with Vivekananda or something like that. But I like the saying.
Well, he's got a long name and a long saying.
Yeah,
so.
but I like the saying.
Yeah, it's a good
if
saying.
You stick with something, and you can make it happen. Okay, you can make it happen.
You know, there was something else I forgot to.
Giving up. Everything takes time.
We were talking about the shot police. The Department of Corrections in Florida, which I retired from 10 years ago, announced that all the inmates are in the state of Florida. All the institutions are locked down. No one can visit this weekend because of the fact that they have heard that there was going to be riots because of this stuff that's going on out on the streets now. And they've been going through and doing a lot of searching. They found cell phones and weapons and all kinds of stuff. So make sure, if you know anyone that does that kind of work, that you say a prayer for them. It wouldn't be a bad idea. There's a lot of people out there besides the police that also try to help us and take care of us and keep us safe and keep the bad guys where they need to be.
These are rough times right now. We need to prepare. We need to be prepared for a lot of things. And, we need to be careful. But, we're taken down with history. You cannot change history.
You can't. Well, you can try to change it, and that's what
you can lie about it.
That's it. I mean, they should take this to a vote to the people. It shouldn't be the Senate or a county legislature or a city that's deciding what's going to happen. I mean, if we're going to move something, the whole people should decide that it needs to be moved and put into a place where monuments can be observed. And if a person doesn't want to go there, they don't have to go there. So that's my thought on it. I mean, I understand.
I agree. It should be the people. The people are supposed to be the country,
exactly.
not the.
That's
we
right.
vote for them, but for things like this, the people should be voting on them. The first coward she's doing a terrific job now, but the first coward started when that fellow, that wacko, killed those nice people that were in church in South Carolina, North Carolina?
Somewhere up there. Yeah,
Nikki Haley.
That's what brought it. That's what kicked it off. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. And Nikki Haley caved in to the wackos because this guy was mentally ill, and they said, "Oh, he's a Confederate. He's in Confederacy." Blah blah blah. And she took down the Confederate flag. That started it. Okay, she caved. She was a coward, and she caved on it. And you need to put these things up. If you have a fence to a Confederate statue, you tell your children the things that you don't like about it. It's part of history. I object to Barack Obama's statue that he has up. I object to Bill Clinton's statue that's there. And I think that Martin Luther King I believe in a lot of things that he said, and I agree with a lot of things he said. But I don't agree with he was against gays and homosexuals. But he was against him. So let's take down his statue. What do you say about that? Sheeple. Okay, let's get it out there. Okay, take them all down. What about the other one? Is the Black Panther one in Detroit? There's a statue of a big fist there. Let's take that down. I'm offended. Are you offended about that?
You know, I'm offended by that bull at what was that over Wall Street?
Wall Street. I'm offended because that's a lot of bull.
That's a lot of
that's
bull.
A lot of bull.
And you know, let's just what else? Let's see. What else can we take? Oh, you know, the Washington Monument. You're going to be seeing. They're really going to chisel into that. I wonder. So.
Well, I'm going to tell you. You know, it's got to stop now.
Yeah, it's got to stop somewhere.
It really has to stop. Talk about it to your neighbors.
And you know,
if they start talking over you, walk away. That means they don't have the facts.
I'm a diehard football fan, and I was watching a show the other day, and they say, "Come on, man, it's one of those things." I think that's what we need to realize. You know, that this is ridiculous. Why do they feel that we need to take this stuff down because it offends somebody? If it offends you, go around it, go away from it, approach from a different angle. You don't have to walk up by it. That's not what it's there for, to offend you. It's there to remind us that we had a civil war, and hopefully we'll never have another one.
Do you know that these players that are kneeling and sitting during the national anthem, they're going to be the downfall of football?
Well, you know, that's an interesting statement. I think that, you know, Kaepernick has showed that when you do that, what can happen when the NFL owners decide that, you know, they're not going to pick up a player because of that. And if the rest of the players all stick together like they're trying to do, and they all do it, you're right. It may take them down.
But
you know, they have
conservative.
There's two things that my way of looking at this. There's two things here. You've got the freedom of speech, which people can do what they want to do, but then you've got the consequences of that freedom. If you are working for a corporation and they say you shouldn't do that, and you do it, you have to suffer the consequences.
That's right.
So you know that's the way it's going to work. I mean, to me. Those players are trying to be defiant. I think they're doing it the wrong way. They can do it in each community they live in by going out and helping bring, you know, whatever they feel is wrong. If it's the police against the blacks, then they need to approach that way.
Right.
Not on the football field. On the football field, when it's time to do the national anthem, is not the time to do the protest. It's not, you know, those people that died to give us those freedom of speeches and to have this wonderful country don't need to be disrespected in that way. They're not the ones that are out shooting each other or the cops that are shooting people in the back, and you know, whether they're black or white. You know, that's something that's got to be addressed at each town, each city, and each county, and each state.
No, they're fighting, racism. Actually, they're creating racism.
They're creating it.
They're creating it because they want some African Americans come out. We want money for all the wrongs that were done years ago.
Oh,
I didn't cause
40
those
acres
wrongs.
and a mule.
My grandparents didn't. They came from Lisbon, Portugal. I mean, they didn't create those problems. I mean, I saw a editorial and they had various pictures. And one picture showed an Asian. It says, "I'm an Asian and I'm not racist." The next one showed an Afghani. I'm from Afghanistan and I'm not a racist. Next one was an African American. I'm African American and I'm not a racist. Next one was a Iraqi. Okay, it said the same thing. Then a Caucasian guy is there, and he says, "I'm a white person and I'm a racist." That's bullshit, okay? That's bullshit, okay? You're creating the problems that we are in today, and if the sheeple keep following the fake news and listening to this bullshit, we're going to go down the tubes. And they're going to say, they're going to wake up and what happened? Yeah. I don't have any freedoms anymore.
I think racism is taught at home. It's not something, it starts at home, I should say, and it goes through the schools or through wherever. So it's up to each individual to decide how they feel about different races and, they're respecting their religion or whatever the case may be. But it works both ways. Everything shouldn't be just set to one or the other. That's the problem. We've got another sponsor we should probably talk about a little bit here before we run out of time. It's Computers and Websites Done Right. I happen to be the owner of the company, but we do computer repair, website design, and social media marketing. We're located here in Venice, Florida. We also do online tech support You can go to my website at computersdoneright.com, click on the Get Remote Support icon, and download the little app, and I can log in your machine and fix whatever's wrong with it, and you can pay for it right there, and everything will be good. So the phone number is 941-240-2675.
I was home last week, and I had a problem with my computer. JD logged
Again?
right on, and well, you logged on. You should know.
You
And he
have a
fixed it,
problem a lot.
and I didn't have to deal with somebody from India, not understanding what they're saying and wondering if they're going to steal anything from my computer.
I'm telling you, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Whether you can trust the person and you know them and you see them, then you can take care of them.
And now you know JD. You can look at him. We're on
Cheers.
YouTube, and you can hear us, and you have our phone number, and you can get in touch with him and go from there. And one thing that we haven't talked about, and that I have to do everyone. If you can't touch it, you don't own it. Just remember this. If you can't touch it, you don't own it. And I firmly believe in that. We don't have a sponsor that sponsors us selling gold or silver or anything like that. But I think that everybody should buy some gold or silver once a month. If you got $100 or you got $1,000 a month, whatever you have, say you got $100, you go to your local coin dealer, buy some silver coin, bring it home. Don't put it in a safe deposit box. The only thing you put in a safe deposit box is a deed, life insurance policies, things like that. Other than that, don't put any cash, jewelry, guns, gold, silver, diamonds, anything in a safe deposit box. Bring it home. And when you're buying gold and silver, and even guns and ammunition, that's an insurance policy. It's not an investment. It's an insurance policy. And I know gold has gone up from, it was about $1,210, $1,215 about a month ago. It's up to hit $1,300 this week. But that's because of the turmoil with North Korea, what's going on in this country and so forth. People are nervous. Just buy it as an insurance policy, because on our next podcast, we're going to talk about what's happening with our currencies, what I talked about earlier in podcasts. Currency is going to be a thing of the past. You need to know about it. You need to learn about it and know what to do about it if and when it happens. I no longer say if it happens. I know it's going to happen. And I will talk more about that in our next podcast. But that's what I have to say about that, JD.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want to make a statement or give us a call, it's 844-429-3579. If we don't answer the phone, please leave a voicemail with your name, number, and we'll be glad to call you back. Also, our email address is TobeyG and JD Show at gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe to our podcasts. We're all over the place. Also, soon to be on YouTube, and we're going to do some Facebook Live here coming up in another month probably. So we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and watch for the cool items we're going to have that you can purchase for Christmas.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
no,
drink.
that's coming. And
you want to give them a hint, or should we wait till next?
No.
We'll make them suffer. Okay.
No, I don't know, because they'll stop. Their mouth will start watering. And,
we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. So until next time, JD, let's go and thank you and subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate it. We appreciate you listening. And soon you'll be able to see these two ugly faces on Facebook. Oh my God.
I'm telling you. There goes our following.
Wonders never cease.
All right, y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
Wonderful.